Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Scraptember, where we are doing fussy cutting for our prompt today. And so I have pulled out a bunch of cut apart sheets, and I am fussy cutting out some things to use on my layout. So the piece of paper there that I just cut from is from Pink Fresh Studios, and I think it is one that came out during more of the height of COVID, or it's kind of COVID related. But I really liked this one that talks about nature, and so since the photos are taken at a park that is kind of local to us, they have some play structures and such, but they have this creek that runs through, and so they're kind of creek walking here, and then we sat and had lunch on a log there. So I don't know, it's not your typical like neighborhood park. There's a lot more open space, but there are a lot of like different kinds of birds and geese and egrets and I don't know, all kinds of different things, herons that you can see. So I basically chose to use a whole bunch of papers from Chamel that are cut aparts, and aside from the one that says a walk will do you good, be one with nature, I liked these little wood pieces that say everyday magic. One says discover and the other says wander. I thought those were perfect for being out in the creek and seeing the animals. There were some ducks out there, and we did in fact see a heron on one of the days we were there. I'm not sure if it was this day, but we go there periodically, so it does happen frequently that we see all kinds of different things. So I did pull another cut apart sheet that has all these different squares and rectangles that have different little creatures in them, or jars of creatures, or things that have to do with kids playing. And so I pulled one that has some feathers in it, one that has some marbles in it, and I wasn't really too concerned about what was in the picture. I just knew I wanted the outside of it to be that limey kind of green. It's kind of a dark limey green, but more of the yellow green than the blue green. And then I wanted to use those two cards. Those are also from another one of Chamel's papers, so those are cut aparts. So a lot of fussy cutting went into this layout. And I am inking everything up with my black soot distress ink just to provide continuity across everything and to really make them kind of stand out and pop off the page. The little library card looking things, those are cut to be stretched beneath the photos so that they can stick out the top and the bottom. And I really like them because one says creatures I found and the other one said bird watching. So those were perfect. I'm not going to do any journaling on camera. I will reserve that for off camera because this is actually going in this little girl's book that I am making for her. And they do have pictures of Noah is in the picture and my daughter is in the picture with us as well, because the four of us did a lot of outings together. So I definitely wanted to document that we did all of these fun things together, and they have formed a little bit of a friendship. So I just think it's really cute. And this was a great place for us to go when it's super hot outside, because it's very shady and it would keep the kids busy for quite some time, like, more than an hour and a half. They'll be in there splashing around with their feet, and it's only really ankle deep. And we are in there with them to keep them safe. They're not slipping and sliding on any of the rocks with algae or anything, but it is pretty safe because it's not, the water's not moving fast or anything like that. So it's just kind of a fun place to get their feet wet, and they can throw rocks and pick up sticks and all that kind of stuff. So they really just have a great time with it. My photos are printed in 3x4 on my selfie, so they are a little bit, my selfie printer, in case you aren't sure what a selfie is. They are a little bit smaller than a 3x4 because I print two to a sheet, and I print them with a border. So the white around each photo is the border I just leave that on most of my photos because I really like the way that it looks. It makes everything pop, and I don't have to do any added work of backing the photo with any other kind of paper. There are times that I do cut that off and I do use other papers, but for the most part, this is how I prefer to do it. I thought this background paper was the perfect background paper for this, just because it has all these trees, and in the layout or in the photos there are tons of trees with a lot of tree cover in this area that we are playing in, and it's just a really fun place to take our lunches and go and hang out. And so we are doing just having a good time. And then I ended up popping up all of those little wood pieces onto some foam tape, and those are not actual wood, it is the paper. So I keep saying wood pieces, but you should know it is actually paper, not actual wood pieces. So although it would be really cool if I did put some wood pieces on there. And then I'm just trying to figure out the exact placement of where I want everything to stay, and then I will glue it down. I did pull out some puffy stickers. These are also from Chamel. They're from the Little by Little collection, so it's a really old one. And I pulled out a yellow camera and 2 different yellow flowers, just so that it brought the yellow into each area, but it didn't, they aren't all identical. So I didn't want it super matchy-matchy, but I wanted the yellow brought into each one of those little embellishment clusters. And then I'm pulling out some leaves. These are from Never Grow Up, Chamel's Never Grow Up collection, and I am going to ink them up with some black distress ink as soon as I figure out exactly where I want them and which leaves I want. So I am just going to have 3 leaves on each of the 2 areas there. I just felt like it needed a little added foliage coming out from behind the photos, and I didn't do any up at the top because there are so many leaves in the trees there, so I thought it would just be better to just have them kind of coming out from the bottom of the 2 areas there. I didn't like this one that has the white all the way around it, so I went ahead and fussy cut it, and then I inked that up as well just to keep the black edge. And if you notice my fussy cutting, I am moving the paper, not my scissors. My scissor hand is really just going open and shut. The paper hand is actually moving, manipulating the paper into the scissors so that I can have a nice smooth cut. And that really is the best and most efficient way to fussy cut. It does take a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's not a problem. And those extra large scissors are not a problem for me. I know a lot of people ask how I can fussy cut with them. I don't struggle with them at all. I actually prefer them. Unless I have a really tiny area on a cut file, then I will get out my little tiny snips. Just using a little Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere everything down. And then I am going to trim down a little bit off of the left-hand side of the page, and I think a little bit off of the bottom of the page. And once I get that done, I'm going to back the entire thing with white paper. Oh, I took it off the top of the page, not the bottom. Probably because everything was already down a little bit low on the page anyway. And then it just created a nice white border all the way around everything, and I think that finishes off the layout really nicely. And once I get that down, I'm going to start working on my title. And I tried my title up at the top, but because everything is like really stacked at the top, I couldn't make it work with these particular thickers. And these are what I had on hand. I was away from my home and I was at a crop, and so I didn't have a ton of options. And so I decided to just make it work and put them underneath down here on the bottom left. And I really like the way that looks. I wasn't crazy about that empty space between the 2 words, so I put another little foam sticker in there with an ant on it and finished it off. That's it, you guys. Go and check out everyone else playing along. There's a playlist down below in case you want to see anything else that has been done for Scraptember already. So go and check that out. And I will be back again tomorrow with another layout. Thanks so much for watching. And if you don't mind hitting that like button, I would really appreciate it. See you next time. Bye-bye.